welcome to the video. I hope you guys are all having a great day. Today we're going to be talking about Tony Stewart Sprint Car Racing, a game that released a few years ago for the PS4 and Xbox One. It is the last sprint car game to be published before this fall the World of Outlaws game comes out, obviously developed like Monster Games, like this game is, and published by iRacing. So if you don't know about that, go check out my most recent video. I talk all about it, and I'll be covering the lead up to that game very extensively because I'm a huge dirt racing guy, and I'm really excited for that game. So today we're going to be looking back on this because not only is it one of my favorite games, it's by the same developers as that World of Outlaws game will be, and it features a lot of the same cars, so it's going to be definitely a similar game. Obviously it'll be a little better because they've gotten better with time, but if you guys don't know Monster Games, it's the studio that developed the Heat games, like the NASCAR Heat games, obviously this game, Tony Stewart's All-American Racing, and SRX the game. Honestly, any of those games I would recommend you check out. I know not a ton of people enjoyed the Heat games, but I really did, and I really enjoy these ones. These are some of my favorite racing games, so what I would recommend if you don't have these games is to go down to your local Target or Walmart and check out, for like 30 or 40 bucks, you can get this game paired with the All-American Racing, and it'll cover basically all your dirt racing needs. This game has the midget class, it has the 305 wingless class, and it has the 410 sprint class, which you can see on your left there. And All-American Racing is essentially the same game, except it has block mods, it has late models, and it has US Legends. And then the SRX game has wingless sprints, it has trophy trucks, it has pro stocks, which are actually asphalt short track cars, so that's kind of cool that they're moving into that as well. It has late models, and then it obviously has the SRX cars. So if you buy just the package of All-American Racing and Sprint Car Racing, you're going to be covering basically every single dirt class that you want to, which is really cool. Oh, that game, All-American, also has stock cars, I forgot to mention that, but just really cool that these games, for a low price of like $30 to $40, can cover basically all your dirt racing needs, which is really fun. And they're just good games too. The features are fairly basic, so I'm not going to go too deep into them, but the gameplay is what really sells it for me. So taking a quick look at these features here, we have career mode, which is a fairly basic career mode. Think the Heat career modes. I'm not going to dive into this. If you guys want to see me do a career series on this game, I'd be more than happy to. Just let me know down in the comments. Medals is like achievements and stuff, so you can see where you've placed on each of these tracks, like your highest place. And it's kind of a cool feature. Obviously not a huge thing, but it's interesting that they put that in the game. Online multiplayer, let me tell you right now, essentially worthless. If you're getting this game for multiplayer, don't. Because if we look on here, right now we have 5 active racers, and I've looked at this about 3 times today, and that's actually the most that we've had online all day. So basically a dead game. Unless your friends have this game, do not anticipate on playing it online. The servers are not that great anyway, but you can have a ton of fun with this game offline as well, so don't worry about that too much. My cars and my driver are essentially the exact same paint booth as on the Heat games. It's a limited amount of customization. You have about 6 or 7 paint schemes you can pick from, and then obviously you can choose your colors, and then sponsors. Not a ton of sponsors, just notable dirt ones include like Hoosier and Flow Racing, that kind of stuff, Mobile One. Other than that, not really anything crazy. Championship, essentially just a series of quick races, really bare bones, but if you are just going to do quick races anyway, you might as well hop into a championship mode. You can do custom schedules, and you can just hop in and have a little bit of fun and kind of keep track of point standings. It's sort of like career, but less deep, and you can also start in whatever series you want, which is a nice touch. So then, split screen, obviously, is just split screen, playing with your friends on the couch. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to hop into a quick race, and I'm going to take you through basically a race weekend, or rather I guess a Saturday night, as it would be in like real life, because it's a little different than like your normal racing game because it's structured like an actual dirt racing event, which is really fun. It's a little bit of like a series of heats and stuff, followed by features. So as you can see here, you got 3 different series. You got the midgets, you got the 305s, and you got the winged sprints. Winged sprints, obviously the main event, and you got a couple just basic schemes here. And then you have the All-Star Circuit of Champions cars. I'm not super familiar with that series. I've always been more of a World of Outlaws guys, so I don't really know any of these people besides obviously Tony Stewart. Not a ton of different schemes, but these generic schemes are pretty cool as well. So I usually run the patriotic one. And then you can see you got a pretty decent amount of tracks here. And what's interesting about this is that even though most of them are ovals, this one, like Matterhorn and Palm Tree, are not. But most of them are just ovals, but they're all really different tracks. Some of them are a lot longer than others. Some of them are just like tri-ovals like this one, and other ones are sort of shaped like Indianapolis like this one, or just different shapes, as well as different banking, which changes a lot. And then some of them have like walls at the top, and other ones have runoffs. Some of them have runoffs on the bottom, and other ones have like tractor tires like you'd see at some tracks. So you really have a wide variety of tracks in this game, which is really cool. You're not getting real tracks, unfortunately, which hopefully we will in the World of Outlaws game, because they'll have the assets scanned from the actual iRacing game. But in this game, you got a lot of fantasy tracks. We're going to go to Washington Park, which you can see on the bottom here is a tough track for 410 sprints. That's because the corners are so tight, but it's one of my favorite tracks in the game, so we're going to take a look at that. In your settings, they're essentially the same as the heat settings. You got, just your difficulty, that kind of stuff, assists, audio, just your basic settings, not anything crazy. But with that being said, let's get into Washington Park here, and I'll show you guys some actual gameplay. As a side note, just want to say quick apologies if the audio mixing is bad. First time with this new mic, but we'll get it worked out for the next one. I just wanted to apologize, but let's get to it. Alright, so hopping into this, there are a few things that I just want to talk about before we get into it. So one of the things that's cool about this game is that practice actually kind of matters in this game, which it really doesn't in any other game except not arguably, just the F1 games it matters in. But in other games, it doesn't really matter. This one, it does, because the tracks are all so different that you really have to find the correct line to run. And there's a goal in practice, too, which really helps you have to, find that line. So with that being said, I'll show you guys what I mean by that. Another thing that I want you to watch out for is as I come out of these turns, I'll likely pop up and kind of do a wheelie. That comes from getting on the acceleration too hard, especially at this track, because the corners are so tight that happens a lot, which is kind of cool because it's unique to sprint car racing, and it's just a really nice little physics touch that they added to this game. I have some problems with the physics that will come in, but overall I think the physics in this game are actually really, really good. And I think that the core gameplay is what makes this game what it is, which I think is special. So with that being said, let's hop into this practice. So the goal, as you can see, I pop up right there. The goal is going to be 12:26. So first what we're going to do is we are going to run the kind of outside lane, and you'll see why. I'm going to run into the wall there. That's really smooth, but I'm going to run the outside line, so we're going to try that. I got on the brakes there a little bit so I can kind of get around, and I run into the wall. Really great start here. Okay, and we're going to spin and pop it right up. So a little bit of a collision there, and we're going to pull a little mater here, a little mater action for you guys, and pop it right back up, and we got some damage. So what we're going to do is a little pro gamer move. I like to call it restart the session, because apparently I've just become bad at this game, and we're just going to hit another car right off the bat. I may have bit off more than I can chew here, running expert on what is arguably the hardest track in the game, but we're just going to skip the idea of running the outside because I apparently am bad now. So we're just going to go right to running kind of the middle lane, and you'll see I pop up there. I didn't have the best entry, but you kind of want to swerve those front tires, which they do in real life, which is kind of cool that they got that aspect into the game as well. It really feels like you're driving a dirt car in this game, which I really enjoy. So as you can see, I'm taking the worst lines known to man, of course as a demonstration, not because I'm bad at the game. And these cars are just going to hit each other. I'm going to run right into the back of them, and I'm putting on what is undoubtedly the worst performance of my life here. So what I think we're going to need to do as you can see right there in the top corner, as you get up to the goal, that time will turn yellow and it'll kind of flash, and then you obviously want to get there before it turns gray. If it turns gray, you're over the time. So what the line at this track is going to be is you want to take that outside lane and then cut in as close to these tires as you can. And it's kind of a weird line, and you're not going to run into the wall. I'm going to run into the wall because I'm bad. But what you want to do is cut about as close to those tires, and you actually need to get on the brakes a little bit. On a lot of these tracks, you don't want to get onto the brakes, but on this one, you're going to need to. And just kind of take that inside lane. A lot of the tracks, inside lane is the fastest, but not necessarily all of them, especially the banked ones. You can kind of get around pretty fast on the outside. So now that we're taking that inside lane and not actually running a terrible line, we're gonna hit that mark pretty easily. And you can see that I did last lap. That's when I got that medallion, and we're gonna do it again. And I'll do it a third time just to prove that I'm not actually bad and that was just the worst performance of my life. And of course for practice, not to just get any validation from you guys, but we're gonna get some validation anyway. So we're gonna end practice right there, beat the goal, and we'll move on to qualifying. So qualifying is essentially the same thing. I don't know if I need to show you guys this because it's the same, so I'll just advance to the heats. You'll see where I'm at in the heats in a second. So I qualified 15th. That'll be good enough for P4 in Heat 3. So the way that works, if you haven't been around dirt racing a ton, is that there are 4 heats in this specific event. There are obviously a different number of heats in different events depending on the number of cars, but so the person on pole will be position 1 in Heat 1, the person in second will be position 1 in Heat 2, and so on through Heat 4, and then 5 through 8 will be the same with the heats again, and then 9 through 12, and so on and so forth. So that would obviously put us in Heat 3 in position 4. So the top 5 in each heat, there are 10 in each heat, will qualify for the A main, and then the top 2 in each heat will qualify for the qualified dash. We might see what that is, we might not, but first let's get through the heat and just see what we're doing here. So hopefully we'll be able to qualify for the qualified dash. Some places call it the trophy dash, but it's called the qualified dash on here. So with that being said, let's just hop right into this and see what the action's about. So hopefully we'll be able to secure a decent position, but it'll be interesting to see if we can run our line. Now we're just going to drop back so we can kind of get on the inside and pick up a few spots right off the bat. And we're up into second, and a little wide there. You can see how I'm kind of moving those tires in the front. Drove that in too early on that one, but I still pick up position and then run into the wall. Not my finest outing so far, but we're going to get a little air there. That obviously is going to hurt us, but still in second. Ran it a little deep into that corner as well. We're coming to 2 to go here. Maybe we'll be able to run this guy down if we can actually run some decent laps, but again, I slide it out too much there. That is a pretty decent corner, come out fast and then hit the wall, completely ruin the corner. Classic decaf right there. And come to the last lap, he's going to maybe run into some lap traffic, and hopefully that'll give me a little trouble, but I think we're probably out of range here. And we run into the wall again. Just a complete poor showing. Luckily, we'll be in second, so we will get into that qualified dash because, as you saw at the beginning of the race, top 5 advance to the main and top 2 to the qualified dash. So I'll tell you what this is in a second, but essentially what it is that the top 2 in each heat advance to it, so there will be 8 drivers, and it determines the top 8 for the A main. So it's not for very high stakes. Usually in person, it's for like money, that kind of thing, but for this it's just the top 8, and then the cars behind that, so the people that got 3rd in heats 1 through 4 will be 9th, 10th, 12th, or 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th respectively, depending on what heat they're in, and so on into the top 5. So that'll fill out the first 20 cars, and then the last 5 in the heat will be in the B main, and if you get into the B main, you have to be top 5 in the B main to advance to the A main, which you'll start at the back, depending on your order in the B main, if that makes sense. So with that being said, we'll hop into this qualified dash. Should be around 5 laps again. They're about the same length as the heat race, and then obviously the A main will be longer. So pretty, like, it's a series of short races followed by a long race if you haven't been around dirt a ton. So this race doesn't matter a ton. As you can see, we make a little contact there. That's one of my problems with this game, to be honest, is the contact model between the actual cars. So if you watch an actual dirt race, as we're driving completely poor, if you watch an actual dirt race, you will see that if these sprint cars, because they're open wheeled, if they touch wheels, they kind of basically, they're up and over, you know what I mean? They're flying through the air, and that's not really represented in this game, unfortunately. So hopefully they'll be able to kind of figure that out in the World of Outlaws game. But we'll have to see with that one, because the contact model in this game is not super great. As with like the NASCAR Heat games, if you press O, you'll pull up the damage menu, and you can kind of see that. You can see I got a little damage on there because I bumped into that other guy. As we pull into the last lap here, we are going to finish 6th. Another thing that I forgot to mention is that obviously as the night goes on, the races will become harder just because the cars are faster. So your heat race is going to be easier to win than your trophy dash, which will be around the same as the A main, but then like the B main will be easier than even probably your heat race. So it's interesting, those B mains are kind of fun because you can work your way up really fast. But now we're going to the main event. We'll see how we fare. We're starting 6th here, and let's just see what we can do. It's going to be a longer race. Hopefully I won't make any crucial errors. Small errors will be fine because we got more time to make up for it, but let's hope for a top 5 here. So into the A main we go here. Let's see if we can get off in a decent start. We kind of let this guy through again so we can get into that inside lane. And we brake too early, we're going to bump into that a little bit. But we will see what we can do. Slide it around the inside here. Decent corner as long as we don't go flying up into that wall, which we do of course, because we can't ever have anything nice here. You know, we're back into 6th place where we started and drive it in here. It's kind of tough to accelerate out of these corners. That was an excellent corner. Just hit that kind of late apex type thing, you know. That way you won't go flying way out of there, but you're still carrying some speed. I'm going to kind of pull a slide job on that guy, but then run into him, and we're just going to wheel down the front stretch. And up into 3rd. So another thing, obviously this is a 20-lap race. We got 25 cars. We're going to bump into that guy. The AI is not super great, by the way, but regardless, we're going to bump into the end of the pack here, and we'll see how our leaders fare against these guys. The AI, like I said, they're kind of bumping into each other. They don't really have any respect for you on the track, so you got to kind of watch out for that. But that guy actually slowed down for me, and I still hit him. You know, we might have a little bit of an advantage on these guys because they don't drive super well against these lapped traffic cars, like I said. And we obviously are going to do a little better. So I'm taking the inside lane here. This guy's held up, and we might get around him right here. Mess up this corner. We pull a little slide job on him there, getting in front of him. A little Chase Briscoe action, except I did it well. You know, rip to my boy Tyler Reddick, but we don't need to talk about that if you guys even watched that race last night. As you can see, I pulled up on a wheelie there, and I got on the brakes and brought it down. I still lost a little time, but maybe a little less than I would have. As we reach around the halfway point of this race, we're up to 2nd. As you can see on the mini map in the bottom right there, our boy is, I believe, in that yellow car, not right in front of us, but up heading into that corner. It's tough to keep your eye on the actual track and the mini map at the same time, you know, and it's such a short track that they're getting around fast, but that's our boy exiting that corner. And I think we got a shot to run him down here, so let's see what we can do. He's kind of held up by these lap traffic, like I said. A little rough on that corner, kind of let the back slide out for me. And you can definitely feel in your car as well, like with the rumbling of the controller and just like looking at what happened on the screen, you can see what's going on as we're going to make a pass for the lead here. No, we're not. We're not. That guy's way up there, and I'm just being a complete idiot here. I think he's actually in a white car, maybe? It looked like, oh, it's Tony Stewart in that white car. I was going to say, I thought he was in a yellow car, but that's just his icon, so still got a little bit of ground to gain, but I think we can maybe do it, as he's just getting on the inside of those lap cars. If he could get held up a little tiny bit, like he is right there, he's bumping into that car in front of him. We got a shot to catch him here. We're getting pretty close, and we just let it slide out from under us there. Got a wheelie going into the wall, but we drive it in deep and hopefully get a little speed out of the exit. Got a poor wheelie, so I can't really do anything about it anyway. He's going to get kind of caught by those lap traffic cars as I bump into somebody. You know, I'm kind of looking ahead of where I am. One thing that is not super great about this game is that it doesn't have tear-offs. A lot of these dirt games have, like, tear-off visors, you know what because, like, in an actual dirt car, their helmets obviously have tear-offs because when they get dirt on them, their visors, they don't have very good visibility, so they have to have these tear-offs. Wait, we're going to make a pass for a lead. I'll talk about the tear-offs in a second. Right around them, and we're going to get a wheelie and almost lose our spot, but he's back there. Hopefully we'll keep him back there. Ooh, that was the last lap pass for the lead. Anyway, these tear-offs, as I'm going to come to the finish line here, and a clutch performance and win it, and just drift it across the line. Do it with a little swagger. These tear-offs, they can't see, so in these games, when you play first person, you'll be able to tear these things off, and you have a certain number, so you kind of have to time it right so that there's enough dirt on your screen that you're not wasting all your tear-offs, but you're also not able to not see anything. But that is unfortunately not in this game. Hopefully it'll be in the World of Outlaws game, but we'll see. That was a clutch performance, by the way. We can't just let that slide, you know what I'm saying? That was not too bad, but... So fun gameplay. Obviously, it feels like a local Saturday night short track, which I really, really enjoy. And, you know, we got a dub, and I hope you guys learned a little bit about the game here. So if you guys want to go buy it, you can. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like. We'll see you guys soon, and I hope you guys are having a good day. Catch you next time.